Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a request for Kevin. Paid request. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is for a topic video of versus 3 Jim Carrey films, which came out all in the year of 1994, which is crazy that all 3 of these came out in the same year. It was definitely the year of Jim Carrey, because you had Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Then, it made some money, and it definitely got a buzz, especially with word of mouth and when it got on home video. Then you had The Mask, and The Mask did very well in the summer. And now people are talking, who the hell is this Jim Carrey guy? And then he's got another film, and Dumb and Dumber, which became another huge hit. Some would view it as 3 of his best films. I'm not going to the plots of these 3. People know these 3 films. I don't need to go into the plots of them. To answer right off the bat, if I have to choose my favorite of these, it would be Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Maybe that's because it's the first thing I saw him in, so it hit that special spot in my brain, or in my ass, whichever way, or both. And it gave me that fun pleasure of just laugh my ass off hilarity. And I could still watch Ace Ventura, Pet Detective and laugh my ass off, because I really enjoyed his character. I think his character in that strikes the right balance between goofy, silly, exaggerated, but not to the point that I'm annoyed or irritated or just wanting him to stop. So it really balances that very well. I think the certain cadence he puts with the voice. Hello there. I think also the dialogue is pretty funny from the beginning when he's delivery guy and he's saving the dog and he's escaping. And he's looking at his mirror. Warning, assholes are closer than they appear. You want to give me a push back there, pal? Alrighty then. Whether it be when he has proved that he knew more than what the cops said, and then he's like, I have exorcised the demons. Loser, 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 loser. Whether it be when he's with Courtney Cox and she's like, you really love animals, do you? If it gets cold enough. I think because with that persona, I see moments where he's lets his guard down. Like there's a bit where he tells his nightmare that he's had with Courtney Cox. And Granny does like a little scare, but then it's kind of the closest we get to that character being kind of outside of his accent, like however you want to put it, with his persona. Have his guard down. And it's close to his actual voice, but just has a little bit of cadence to it, which can make it really funny. I can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power. And just as a film itself, the idea of a pet detective is so goofy and silly, but weirdly enough, it works because, we could be, you feel bad for animals. You want animals to get taken care of. You want animals to be helped. We're not fucking Hassan Piker and wanting to shock and fuck up dogs or cats or anybody. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Hassan Piker's a piece of shit. That's what he is. He always has been. But that's a whole other topic another day. Never liked that motherfucker. It's a piece of shit. But anyway, so the premise is funny, the idea is funny, and it really is based on what he can do alone. I mean, in the other films, like The Mask, a lot of special effects are in there to try to help with the comedy and other aspects. Dumb and Dumber, it's a buddy movie, a good one. Here, he had to do it all himself. He was truly the special effect. It was on his shoulders. He was the star. It was all up to him or nothing. He had to carry that film on its own. So you could tell that he had that I need to prove myself mentality. So he brought it and then some. And, I love, it's like Eddie Murphy. I love, 48 Hours and other stuff. But The Golden Child, one of the reasons I like that film a lot is that he's by himself, really, and it's really on his shoulders, and it's a good showcase of his talent and what he's able and capable of. He is the star, he is the special effect, he is the guy. There may be special effects in it, like The Golden Child there is, but it lives or dies based on him and him alone. And I think Jim Carrey really made that work. And the combination of I think the music really fits the vibe. The plot is so, not just the whole, okay, a dolphin is kidnapped, but just like who did it and why they did it. The whole Dan Marino, the tick heard around the world, laces out. I actually find that really fascinating. I think that's actually a really neat plot for like a villain backstory to have. And then the fact that they, wish they couldn't do this nowadays because they'd be canceled. The Einhorn is Finkel, Finkel is Einhorn. Which I thought was an interesting idea. It's a creative idea. I love the use of the crying game. If they did that now, it'd be labeled offensive. Just people pussies. But I love that. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. And in the dialogue, what if I make your life a living hell? Well, I'm not ready for a relationship, Lois, but thank you for asking. What's your phone number? 911? Already then. Again, so much of that film, again, I could watch now and still laugh my ass off to this day. It has that energy, and again, that daft premise has to be handled in the right hands. And I'm sure that's why you saw more of those type of movies occur later on. Some better than others. You had Dickie Roberts, former child star with David Spade. You had Rob Schneider's, The Hot Chick or The Animal. And go, well, that's a silly idea. Well, Pet Detective is a silly idea, but one works and one doesn't. It helps with, who's the star of the film, among other stuff. Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Just, okay, take a star, put him in a kind of wacky, weird premise. Even maybe like Adam Sandler's The Water Boy, stuff of that nature. And again, some work, some don't. The star and what he does helps immensely with that. Like, if you took the same film and you put Rob Schneider in it, it would not have worked. If you took the same film and put David Spade, I like David Spade, but I don't think it would have been the movie that it is. Because Jim Carrey brought that vibe, energy to the whole proceeding. Again, I like the plot. All that stuff I think is really clever, really unique, and a lot of fun. So, love Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The Mask believe it or not, would be my least favorite of the three. Because, to be perfectly honest, I never loved The Mask. It's okay. I could watch it. But I never loved that movie. I never did. Now, I never read the comic. From what I understand, the comic was much more violent, much more crazy. I kind of wish they did the comic version. They never would, because they would not have risked an R rating for that. But I would have been more intrigued by that. But The Mask, while I think Jim Carrey is good as, I think Stanley is his name, the alter ego, kind of the Clark Kent of the story. Kind of affable, good-natured. And there's some pretty, for its time, nifty special effects and creativity. When he sees the hot girl and all the faces are like a cartoon, the ton rolling out, him like a cartoon animal like you would see in a Looney Tunes show. How you're able to create all these nifty, crazy special effects to show how creative you did get. I do appreciate that. I do. I think what it is I was talking about Jim and how the voice, the cadence could be a balancing act. The Mask, when he's that character, kind of grates on me. How some people may be annoyed by Ace Ventura. That's how I feel about The Mask. I just get a bit irritated. Maybe because his voice seemed a little bit higher pitched. And I don't know, just the jokes where he's like fake dying and he's like having a fart sound effect, and it's one of those things where as I'm watching, I'm like, again, that kind of voice like this, put him up, yeah, how's it going, smoking. It's that balance, and for me personally, it just got to that tipping point of, I just didn't want to hear him talk as the Mask. I really didn't. I was waiting for the next special effect, like the big mallet and the eyes going all crazy and stuff. But it was kind of funny when he was Clint Eastwood for a bit. But I just kind of got a bit annoyed by him as the Mask. You know, Cameron Diaz was nice to look at, but she was pretty much a rookie when it comes to acting. She was a bit of a newbie, and you could tell a bit. The dance numbers, I didn't really give a shit about the dance numbers. If people did, that's cool. The dance numbers, I'm like, whatever. You know, I could take or leave them. The stuff with the dog was kind of cute. You know, I think a little goes a long way with that. And it's a fuckload better than what was in Son of the Mask. But again, The Mask, I haven't seen in a long time. I don't know. I haven't seen that in a long while. Maybe I have to rewatch it again sometime, but I just remember going, it's okay. But never loving it as much as some of his other early work. And then Dumb and Dumber, I love. I mean, I always say if Ace Ventura is my favorite, Dumb and Dumber is probably my second favorite Jim Carrey film. And I already went over why I enjoy Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, why it's my favorite. Dumb and Dumber is great, though. I think he has wonderful chemistry between him and Jeff Daniels. I think there's still a lot of moments in that movie that make me laugh. Like how Jim gets so in shock of we landed on the moon when he sees the newspaper on the wall. Or how dumb Jeff Daniels sincerely is, where it's my bird Petey. His head fell off. What? Yeah, he was pretty old. So instead of thinking that maybe someone cut its head off, his thought process was it must have fallen off because it's too old. And that was what's funny about the first Dumb and Dumber was that they weren't mean-spirited. The only time they kind of hurt was playing a prank on the guy that was treating him like shit anyway and secretly was trying to kill them. And then even then it's like, hey, it was just a joke, it was just a dad, and they're trying to help him. Dumb and Dumber 2, they just seem much more mean-spirited, and just that's the humor it had to be, and they didn't feel like the same type of characters as they did in the first film. But that's another story. But the first Dumb and Dumber, from the beginning, where Jim thinks Austria is the same as Australia. Well, good day, mate. Let's have another trip with the Barbie. Because she's from Austria. He thinks that's Australia. So there's that. There's... I'm trying to think like my favorite bits in that movie. All the stuff in the van, where Jim is like pretending he's running. He's running as, as the van is going. Like all these little things here and there. I would say that the plot of them going to Aspen because of this girl, and there's this guy that wants them dead, and the henchman. I like Mike Starr. I do like him. He's kind of the lead hench guy who's in the middle when they're like, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And he's like, guys, guys. I liked him. The others are there. The lady who I think when I first saw him, like, is that Rosie Perez? But it's not. But, or the other guy at the end of the film. It's like, whatever. To me, they're not as memorable as Einhorn and the whole Eddie laces out weird stalkers, almost serial killer room. Laces out, with the cookies. It's not as vibrant of a plot to me as Ace Ventura. But the chemistry between the two are definitely special. They worked very well together. A lot of laughs. I mean, there are scenes in there that I just do fast forward. Like, there's nothing in Ace Ventura I would fast forward. Dumb and Dumber, the whole scene, which is, I hate the scene. I know it's a famous scene, but when he's on the toilet, Jeff Daniels is shitting. Farting. Which apparently Jeff Daniels has said that Clint Eastwood, because he worked with Clint Eastwood at one point, mentioned that scene. Like, that made him laugh so much. I think he even said something like that happened to me once. Because he did all that and wouldn't flush. And I'm not into that toilet humor. I've never been that guy. There wasn't as much of it in Dumb and Dumber, but the Farrelly brothers, they put a lot more of that in the sequel, because after Dumb and Dumber they did, There's Something About Mary, where the famous joke is to come in the hair, and they go, well, that sells, so we don't put a lot more of that into their future movies. So you have a lot more of that toilet humor throughout. So I never liked that scene in Dumb and Dumber, so I didn't fast forward it. But yeah, other than that, like, Dumb and Dumber is still a pretty damn funny movie. Again, it's probably my second favorite after Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. But yeah, with the like I said, the story, the plot, the lead character, it being all on his shoulders, which to me is more impressive if you do carry a film on your shoulders. I'd give it Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. But the other two are still good. So I would say Ace, Dumb and Dumber, and then The Mask. I know some, I'm sure their favorite is The Mask, and that's good. Maybe because they like the more superhuman, superhero aspect. Not me. I mean, it's cool that it does that, but especially nowadays where I'm tired of although The Mask is better than many superhero films you can mention nowadays, I'll give you that. With all these, things that Jim Carrey wants to do, well, I guess they have mentioned how they want to do a sequel to The Mask. I'm kind of surprised they never did. I'm glad they didn't, because if it was as bad as Dumb and Dumber 2, then yeah, you could shove it up your ass. But yeah, take that for what you will. But that's my thoughts on it. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now. Thanks once again, Kevin. Take care.